The area entity is a very important entity that is frequently used both in CAD calcs, graphic calcs, so it's important that you understand some of the fine points about the area. An area by definition can be a boundary with or without holes. In CAD calcs or graphic calc, you can define any imaginary shape using the line, arc, and circle entity, any imaginary boundary, any any boundary that you can imagine with any number of holes and islands, and the area detection is fully automatic. So this is a like a situation where there is all straight lines. This could also be, so this would be, to define this, you just select the geometry. There are various ways to doing that. I'll get that in a second, but let's select the geometry, so define area, and you have the area. And as the geometry updates, the area definition updates. You can also have holes, and they can be curvilinear holes. Let's say I can create a hole like this, for example. And it'll detect it. You can have multiple holes in the area. For example, let me just draw a geometry here and put a series of holes, and the area detector calculation will automatically detect those holes. There's one thing though, the holes and islands have to be inside the boundary of the outer boundary. They cannot cross. Let's make it rigid. Let's say this is a 4mm hole. So this is a legal situation, but if I went like this becomes an illegal situation. That means the area related calculations will be incorrect. So this is something you need to keep in mind. Now, how do you select to define areas? Let me just select all and delete it. So you may have three possible scenarios. One, when there's only all the geometry on the worksheet is going to participate in definition of the area. Then you can just go select all and define area. But supposing there was more than one geometry here, let's say there was another shape here. So now I cannot do select all and define area. What I can do is, though, I can just do a window select, click the mouse, drag it till you have the window covering all the entities, and this will work. And finally, some situations you have to create boundaries so that you can shift select. Here's an example here. To calculate the area of this segment, I have to put some construction lines. I will constrain two arcs, first from the endpoint intersection to intersection, and again from here intersection to intersection, and then I have to constrain two lines going from the intersection to the intersection here, and from the intersection to intersection here. So then now I can press the shift key and selectively click on the geometry that is going to participate in the definition of the area. And now I've changed the angle of this line. You'll see that area definition will change. And the constraint which is available for an area relative to an area is the centroid constraint. So here's a shape, and I can constrain a dimension from the endpoint. It'll detect it can snap if you know where it is, or you can just take the origin constraint, and this is now measuring the distance of the centroid. So if you change the geometry, you see the centroid is moving. And there's a special case when let's say you have like a plate with a hole in it, and you cut it. So there are two sections, and CAD calcs and graphic calc can handle that also. I'll simulate that situation. Let's say you have a plate here. This is the boundary of the plate, and let me align this to make sure that the y coordinate of this is equal to the start y of this. So then you can put two more lines to define the segments. So I'm going to constrain it to be on top of this, slide on this and go down, and then slide on this and go down. Then I'll trim this to be on this and trim this to be this line. So now there are two separate sections and we can handle that. To do that, we have to create a hole inside, because right now this is not a hole because this is a continuous line here. So what you do is you take the polyline tool and go from the intersection endpoint, intersection, and close it. So now we have a hole inside this boundary. So now if I go like this, it's a defined area. You see there are two different areas that this will be treated like one. So I can calculate, if I calculated the area of this, it's giving actually the combined area of the two sections. So practice a little bit with a variety of areas. Remember, you can shift select and select geometries that you want to participate in the area. Select the outer boundary first and then the inner boundary and then the holes and islands, and this way you will have a better definition of the area. Thank you.